Hello and welcome. Today's video is going to be about fingerprint modules. I had an idea to add a fingerprint to my electric gate opener, the guy back here. And so I'm just going to share the project with you. I'm going to show you how to add relays to these modules so you can open bigger things or turn on lights or start your car, open your front door, do anything you want after you add a relay. So this video is going to be no solder mods. Right now it looks like a big mess because all these wires are here because I was trying to hack the chip here to get information. So the options here are the R503 here, and this one here would need the Node MCU or any kind of Arduino, and then of course the relay. This one here is actually these ones here back here, the R503s are about $18. These ones here are $15, and then I found these guys back here for $10 on Amazon. And then the next day I found a bunch more, but I didn't order anymore. I think I have way too many modules now. So the benefits here is the R503 is more secure to the point where you can add your Arduino and your relay into on like the other side of a wall or whatever, or for my case inside the unit. This watch one here, or not the watch, the lock here, if they were to get access to the wires, most likely they can just flip the switch themselves because I'm just sending a single wire to the relay to get it off. But the benefit of this one here is you can program them. So if you have a new friend come over, you can just take them to wherever the module is and have them place their finger on it. You place your finger first, and you go into administration mode, and then they can add their fingerprint to it. So there's absolutely no software involved with this one or any buttons. Then this guy here, these guys here, they there's a button that you have to push to add new fingerprints to it or whatever. So again, this will be a no solder mod. It's not going to be that messy. I'm not exactly sure which one I should take you guys through. Maybe one of these locks here first. So for an example here, if I plug this guy in carefully, there, I'm not sure if you can see the relay, the light on it, but if I add my finger to it. So that's how easy it is to do it. And then the way I'm going to show you, it's going to be even easier. There won't be all these wires involved with it. Okay, so the best one out of all of these to me actually are these ones here. I spent about 3 days on Chinese sites downloading things at 1 kilobyte that took 14 hours. Had to pay some guy to get the software, which I'll put a shout out to him in a second probably. These modules here, you can actually turn them basically into these R503s. They're not the same, but I have all the code and all the data sheets where you don't even need the chip on here to control it. You can control it right through an Arduino if you wanted to. So it might be a better option if you're into tinkering, because this guy's pretty good for that. And that's about it. So I think I'll jump into showing you how to open these guys up first. I might, in this video, I'm not going to do this guy here because this one involves programming. So I might make a whole new video on this guy here, how to add it to the Arduino and stuff like that. It's actually pretty simple, but you need to know how to program just a little bit, or at least upload sketches and stuff like that to the Arduino. For these ones here, there's no programming at all. So you got a lock here. When they come brand new, any finger should unlock it. Like that. So then if you want to program it, I may as well just go through that now. You just hold your finger here after it's unlocked. Hopefully it's going to work. And the light should eventually come on solid. Okay, once that light's solid, now you take your finger off, touch it, touch it, touch it. Once you're done, it should lock in. Okay, so now this one's programmed with your fingerprint. So now if I try this one, doesn't work, this one. There you go. So that's how you program it. Now to take it apart, it's kind of tricky. I should probably get rid of all this stuff here. This one here would be the easiest one to hack technically because all the wires are open. So I might do this one here and this one, how to add a relay to it. So there's a hidden screw right there. Right, so I'm not sure if the screwdriver is going to fit in there. Okay, so when you're taking this one apart, just make sure you push pretty hard and you have the right kind of screwdriver, because this star in there is going to strip pretty easy. So it'd be nice if you just were able to take the screw off and the back pops off, but it's a little bit harder than that. So you don't really need to keep any of the parts in here. So what has to happen is this back has to come off, and you can't stick something in there to pry it up because there's a lithium battery in there as well. So what you have to do is find a flat screwdriver, place it here roughly, and then bash the heck out of it with a screwdriver until you can crack this open. And I'm going to do that off camera. But the biggest hint, or the biggest thing I can tell you about this guy here, is tape up the display. So find a piece of paper that would be able to cover this display. The reason why is because inside of the lock there's tons and tons of grease in there, and you don't want to get that on the module at all. Alright, so once it's taped up, bring it outside or wherever and bash it right here with this flat screwdriver and a hammer. After you've done smashing the heck out of it, you want to find an opening in there so you can stick a screwdriver. What you'll want to do is pry back and forth and just get the back out. Little C-clamp right here that you gotta get out of there, which can be kind of a pain, and most likely you'll never find it if it flies out. Just don't stab yourself trying to get it out. Okay, and like I said, inside this it's very oily, so you won't want to touch the display until your hands are washed really good. There's a little clamp there. I don't really need it. I think I lost it. Okay, so once that's out, this thing should just slide right out. So be careful with the motor because we're going to want the wire from it. At least one of the wires. And then the battery. Maybe don't use something pokey like that. Let's get that spring out of there. So just be careful because the battery, this is still powered up because of this battery, but we can cut the battery off after. Okay, and you'll find a screw back there and a screw right there. And you might have to take out this board temporarily and then put it back. Okay, I'm not sure what happened to the other screw. Oh, it's stuck in there. Okay, that came out okay. Alright, so this board does have TX and RX on it and other debug stuff on it. It does send debug information out. So if you do want to hook it up to an Arduino, you can hook it up like that and just do a compare with the output of the debug information. So basically it sends out like in plain English if the lock is open or closed and stuff like that, or if the password is accepted. Alright, so we're going to cut the wires for the battery. So just cut them independently. Leave the ground a little bit longer maybe. Alright, so best thing now is just to cut off the battery. Just don't cut them both at the same time, cut one at a time. And make sure they don't short out while you're cutting them. Okay. So you could leave the battery on if you really want to, but it's just not enough to power the relay. Unless you, in your own project, you have your own relay. That's only like a 3 volt and it's not a whole module. So we can try to get this board out now that it's not powered up. Okay, so the option here now is you should just make sure you don't touch the display. So this is what the module just looks like this. So you would have to design something There are two holes here, so maybe you can cut a piece of plastic to match up with the fingerprint if you don't want to use this, because this thing here would probably be kind of hard to mount. So you'd probably just want to use this little board here. So that's the way I'll do it in this video. I haven't tried it yet, but we'll give it a shot. So undo the power. And we're going to want to clean up this board as well. All right, it'd be a good time to clean up this module so you don't get the back dirty. So just find some rubbing alcohol or something so you can clean it up. Again, be careful you don't touch the back. So you might be able to use 3 volts here after you plug in a USB to power your module instead, if you want to. Then I would suggest cutting the batteries a little bit less, or a little bit closer to the battery so you have more wire to play with. So we can try that. Then you don't have to butcher up the USB cable. So that might be a better option. And then on this guy here, we're going to want to remove the motor. So the way the motor works is there is no negative and positive. It actually flips. So when this locks, it turns the motor one way, then it reverses polarity and it turns the other way. So we can only use one of these wires for the switch for on the relay. So you can just cut these wires off. But we're only going to be using one. But we can cut them both off like that for now. You want to get close because, again, if you can't solder, we're going to be just twisting the wires on and using some heat shrink. Okay, so wiring this guy up. In reality, you would want to have the relay somewhere else and powering it separately. But we can try powering it off these 2 little wires just to see if it's actually going to work. If you're going to power it elsewhere, like have the module here and have this like 20 feet away or whatever, you'd probably want to power this over there. And then all you would have to do is run the switch wire and a ground all the way to here. Okay, so we need to strip a wire. So we're going to go with the red wire on this guy. This is the old motor wires. So just use strippers or a lighter or whatever. Just be careful with the lighter. So that doesn't happen, but that's okay. We're going to use some heat shrink. Okay, and then we're going to try these 2 just to see if it's going to work. If not, we're going to have to get the positive and the negative from the USB cable it came with, just for today, for this example. Hopefully it doesn't strip all the way down. I think it's going to. Okay, so we got a positive and negative. Just don't lose this little washer guy. If you have a 3D printer, you probably want to make a 3D printed case for this. Or just use a margarine lid or something and cut out a square into it. Okay, wire. Alright, preferably you'd want to have the relay farther away. So the module in your project would be over here and 10 feet away. The relay would be there and you'd be powering this separately. But as I said before in this video, I'm just going to show how to hook it up. Possibly towards here, or we're going to have to hack this USB cable. So we got some wires here. So we're going to use orange for the switch, which you probably want to use a different color, but you should be fine for this project. So this is going to be our switch. And then this is going to be our negative and ground. Negative and ground. Okay. Again, I'm going to use a lighter. Just quicker for me. Alright, so on the relay module, I'll show a link in my description where to get these guys from. So probably want to hit, we can try this one first. So this one's going to go in CT high, which it doesn't really matter because like I said before, the motor switches polarity. So it's going to go high and low, but at least the relay is not going to go on and off on you. Okay. Gonna need some heat shrink. Okay, let's try getting our positive and negative. If you don't have heat shrink, you can try using electrical tape. Again, this is always easier if you can solder, but again, I like to show in my videos how you can do a project without soldering. Be really careful with these pads because you don't want to rip the trace off of them. So just be a little gentle when you're doing this. We got my switch wire. Hook it up to this big mess here I made. Okay, so that's all the wires you should need, hopefully. We'll find out the hard way if it's going to work. So the red one here gets hooked up to your positive, VCC on the relay. It's hooked up to VCC. Let's do those now. And then on relay 2, well, we'll get to the relay in a second. Not sure if that's in there. Good. The only reason why I'm folding it over is just to give it a little bit more clamping power. You might want to twist them up so it doesn't fray. Alright, so that's about it. Now we just have to hook up the USB power to see if it works. Alright, so I switched out the power adapter here. I was trying this one before and it was causing it to blink on and off. So you still would want to probably do a USB power share, like the cable here, or if you're powering this somewhere else, which realistically you should be, the ground. Just make sure you leave the ground from this unit to here, and if you have a 5-volt power adapter or another USB like 20 feet away, wherever this relay is, plug in the power there and the ground there, and just remove the positive wire from this here, but just make sure you leave the ground wire, and this should work 100%. So, and in a computer case, if you're going to add this to a computer, that's just how simple it is as well. You just need to output there. So I'll just show you the connections quickly to power on that motor I have, just to show you it working like that. Alright, so I got my motor taken apart. In the manual it says to add a switch to it, like a manual switch for your gate to open and close. Just add a wire there and there. So I'll just skip this part. Alright, so on the relay you'll want to put it on the normally closed one. For this relay here, it'd be this here, this screw here, and this screw here. Probably should have bent that wire. Yeah, kind of figured that would happen. Right, so I got it hooked up to my relay now. So now I just got to plug this guy in and make sure it works. Hopefully it doesn't short out there. Okay, so now I plug in this guy here. Alright, so now in theory, once I push this fingerprint thing, this motor should kick in. There we go. So on my gate, it has sensors on it or whatever, so it'll shut off on its own, so you don't have to push it twice. In reality, I might have to hook up 2 of these, because this gate here has an option to only open 4 feet. So if I have company come over, they can just do that, and it'll open 4 feet. But once they're on the other side, they'll want to close it. So I have 2 options. One is this thing comes with an automatic close feature. After say a minute or 2 minutes, it'll just shut on its own. Or I could put another fingerprint module on the other side. So all right, I'm just going to unplug this AC here so I don't die. All right, guys, that's it for this video on this module here. As is, you can hook this up right up to a computer if you wanted to, and just splice into the 2 power wires that go to the motherboard and to the switch, and you can switch on and off your computer by fingerprint. Again, the bonus of this one here is there's no buttons, there's nothing on it. So if you want to add a new user to it, you literally just hold your finger on it for like 8 seconds and then put a new finger on it. So if you have another family member that you want access to your computer or your gate or whatever your project is, there's nothing else needed. It's just this and you're done. Right, so this part of the video is done. Part 2 should be up maybe in a week or less if there's any interested in this. The next one is going to show you how to hook up this guy here, how to add a relay to it, and how to hook it up to your computer. I think this module that comes out of this unit here would probably be better because this looks almost like a power button and it might even replace some of them. Plus this module here can come off, which I'll make an entirely different video on because that one's going to be a long one. This one can get hooked up directly to the Arduino, so you don't need this power board or nothing. The Arduino will power it and everything. But like I said, that'll be a longer video for sure. The board that comes with this one as well, I'll just touch on this. You can order boards from AliExpress and stuff like that for about 30 bucks, maybe on Amazon for 40 or $50. It comes with a Pico buzzer, it comes with a relay built on the board, and all you have to do is add power to it, and then it also comes with the fingerprint module as well. So if you're not into soldering or tinkering, or you don't want any of this mess or whatever, you can just order one of those units and attach it right to your computer case or whatever your project has, and it'd be a lot simpler. These are only 10 bucks, so I thought I would save a lot of money doing it this way, and I like messing around with things, so it's a funner project for me at least. And this one here does come with a Pico buzzer, comes with a switch. The only thing you need to add is actually a relay, and the relays are only like $3. The way they come is like this, and I believe everything to hack a relay onto it and the power of this would be all through this. You just have to cut a USB end and add the power to this cable here, and everything should work hopefully. But that'll be the part 2 of this video. Part 3 of this video will be about this guy here, the R503. Again, if there's interest in this, because I don't know if anybody's actually going to want to hear about this kind of stuff, but the R503, you need an Arduino. There's already a bunch of videos on it, but I'll just make one anyways, and I'll also edit the code so you don't have to upload the sketch twice. You can do everything just with this. What I'll try to do is I'll clone the firmware from these kind of locks, maybe, into this. So this way you don't need a switch. You just have to hold your finger for 10 seconds, and then you can add a new finger. Well, you add one finger as administration, and then it'll do all the stuff it needs to do off that one finger. Then you can add more fingers to it, if that made any sense, because I'm kind of babbling. And this video has gone long enough, I believe. So that's it, guys. Like and subscribe, please. And that's it.